Baseball is nearly impossible to predict. Almost every year, at least one team will have World Series expectations, but due to injury, turmoil, or underperformance are gonna bomb out and miss the playoffs. On the flip side, at least one team will come from nowhere and go on a playoff run. It goes down to the individual level too. How many people had Jose Abreu winning the MVP, or Kyle Lewis winning Rookie of the Year in 2020? I've made plenty of predictions about the upcoming season in the last couple weeks, but I'm one man, prone to biases and general incompetence, so why don't we ask what a computer thinks? Out of the Park Baseball is a management game that I've been playing a ton for the last 4 years, and while it isn't exactly simulation software, I wanted to see what it predicted would happen in the upcoming season. But looking at one single simulation is too prone to outliers, so I set out to run the 2021 simulation enough times to have some funny anomalies, but also determine who the game expects to be the best overall teams and players in 2021. I specifically wanted to see which teams made the playoffs the most often, and who the most common winners of the MVP, Cy Young Award, Rookie of the Year, and Reliever of the Year were. So after about 6 hours of staring at loading screens, I finished simulating the 2021 season 50 times, and this is what I found out. Let's start simple and see who the most common division winners were. Starting in the NL East, which should be hotly contested, and the sim felt the Mets were the best team with 29 wins, a tier above the Braves, who had 18. Past them, the Phillies won twice and the Marlins won once, while surprisingly the Nats did not win a single time. The Nats, though, made the playoffs via the wild card 9 times, while the Marlins' singular division win was also their only playoff appearance. The NL Central is generally believed to be the division with the most parity in the league, but the sim felt there was anything but. The Brewers, who I personally don't think are that great, won the Central a whopping 35 out of 50 times, which is the second most division wins out of any team in the league. Behind them are the Cardinals, Cubs, and Reds, who pick up the scraps with a few wins each, and the Pirates, who predictably go winless. In the West, we see the division with the least parity. The Dodgers have the most division wins of any team with 42, and the Padres take the remaining 8 sims. The D-backs, Giants, and Rockies fail to win the division a single time between them, although the Giants made the wildcard game 4 times. Both Arizona and Colorado failed to make the postseason a single time. Swapping to the AL East, where the Yankees are the favorites, but both Toronto and Tampa Bay have a respectable amount of wins as well. The Red Sox sneak in a couple, while unfortunately the Orioles don't have any surprise runs. In the Central, the White Sox and Twins are about even in division wins, with the unnamed baseball team not far behind. The Royals also grab a couple seasons, with Detroit bringing up the rear. Finally, our biggest surprise, and dare I say the biggest oversight in the simulation, is the AL West, where the Angels have the most division wins, with half of the season going their way. The Astros are not far behind with 18, but Oakland completely falls flat with just 3 wins, the exact same amount as the Mariners. Even the Rangers fluke a win too. Personally, I think the sim is overrating the Angels and probably underrating Oakland, but honestly, who knows. Here are the total amount of playoff appearances for each team in the AL, where we can see the most common outcome based on our simulations is the Angels winning the West, the White Sox in the Central, and the Yankees in the East. The 2 wildcard spots are held by Minnesota and Houston, with Tampa Bay, Toronto, and Cleveland all being in the mix as well. In the National League, our most common scenario is the Dodgers winning the West, the Brewers in the Central, and the Mets in the East, with the Padres and Braves in the wildcard game. As opposed to the AL, where there were 8 or 9 teams that made the playoffs an appreciable amount, the NL has 5 definite favorites with everyone else lagging behind. Notably, the Dodgers are the only team that made the playoffs in all 50 sims, while the Padres missed the playoffs just 3 times. Once we get into the playoffs, things get a little more interesting. In the AL, the White Sox were the clear most successful team in the postseason, while the Yankees were the least. Chicago won 14 pennants in 37 trips to the postseason, double the amount of any other team in the league. The Angels also found success with 7 pennants, and Cleveland won 5 in just 22 playoff appearances. On the other hand, the Yankees won only 4 pennants and converted that into just 1 World Series win in 31 playoff appearances. On the other side of the bracket, the Dodgers were able to convert their 42 division wins and 50 playoff appearances into pennant exactly half the time. Probably the single most remarkable thing in the simulations is that the Dodgers won 22 out of the 25 World Series they appeared in, which while I'd expect them to win a little more than half, an 88% win rate is off the charts and probably would have regressed in a lot more sims. The next highest World Series wins was by the White Sox with just 5, the Mets were third with 4, the Padres had 3 World Series wins, which sounds low, but remember the Padres had the unfortunate fate of running into the Dodgers in 28 out of their 47 playoff appearances, and they were able to win just 9 of those 28 playoff series. A smattering of teams win 1 or 2 years, with probably the 2 biggest surprises being the Yankees, who again win just 1 out of 50 seasons, which is the same amount as the Mariners. In the 25th sim, Seattle's pitching staff, headlined by James Paxton, Marco Gonzalez, and a trade for Andrew Heaney, was the best in the American League, winning 92 games and the AL West title, and they won a crazy 7-game World Series against the Brewers, where neither team's offense did anything. It was probably the most unlikely team to win a World Series, but now that we've seen which team the game expects to be the best, let's look at the individual level. Starting with both leagues' MVP and looking at the Vegas odds, Mike Trout is the clear favorite in the AL with 9-4 odds. In our sims, he won 22 out of 50 MVPs, which funnily enough is almost exactly what the Vegas odds predict. The next highest winner is Jose Ramirez with 5, followed by Bo Bichette and Randy Arozarena, who are the only other players to win more than twice. Probably the most surprising outcomes were Byron Buxton winning twice, and somehow Ahmed Rosario winning an MVP in the 19th sim. On the NL side, Fernando Tatis Jr. was our leader with 14 MVPs, while Ronald Acuna, Juan Soto, and Cody Bellinger all tied for second with 6. In the next tier were Francisco Lindor, Mookie Betts, and Corey Seager with 3 each, followed by various relatively unsurprising names with 1 or 2 wins. For the Cy Young Award, the game views Lucas Giolito as the clear AL frontrunner with 22 wins, with Shane Bieber and Garrett Cole being a tier below him with 9 wins each. The remaining sims are rounded out by the likes of Hyun-Jin Ryu, Tyler Glasnow, and Jesus Luzardo, and some more surprising names like Justice Sheffield and Jose Urquidy. In the NL, Jacob deGrom is the predictable frontrunner with 16 wins, with the second highest being Walker Buehler with just 5. Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burns both make appearances near the top of the list, with Trevor Bauer and Luis Castillo rounding out the top tier of pitchers. Notably, Clayton Kershaw, David Price, Tony Gonsolin, and Julio Urias each win as Cy Young, giving the Dodgers 6 winners. Rookie of the Year is often one of the hardest awards to predict, but Alex Kirilloff of the Twins is our big winner in the AL with 14 victories. Jerry Kelenic and Andrew Vaughn compose the next tier with 6 wins each, followed by Brandon Marsh and Bobby Witt Jr. with 4. The NL Rookie of the Year is the least congested award, with just 5 different players winning it in 50 sims. Christian Pache leads with 19 wins, followed by Ke'Bryan Hayes and Ha-Seong Kim with 15 and 11 respectively. Pavin Smith in Arizona and Justin Williams in St. Louis clean up the remaining 5 sims. Finally, our most volatile award will be Reliever of the Year, since relievers are the hardest players to predict. In the AL, Aroldis Chapman and Liam Hendriks are at the top tier with 6 wins each, and Nick Anderson, Diego Castillo, Alex Colomé, James Karinchak, and Ryan Presley have 4 wins each. A bunch of random guys make up the rest of the winners, with some especially random names like Josh Sborz and Wyatt Mills. In the NL, Edwin Diaz leads with 10 wins, and Josh Hader and Dustin May are not far behind with 8 and 6. 2 more Dodgers, Brusdar Graterol and Kenley Jansen both have 4 victories. Drew Pomeranz has 3, then a bunch of other dudes make the rest, notably Devin Williams with only 1. The most common outcome of the 50 sims I did are on the screen right now, and I wouldn't say any of these things happening would be a huge surprise, other than maybe the Angels winning the West. So there you go, there's no big takeaway today, just the results from a fun little experiment. It probably says more about the people that made the ratings and Out of the Park than the actual season predictions themselves, but I had fun making it and I hope you had fun watching it. There's a link to the spreadsheet that has all the results and the raw data in the description if you want to check that out. Enjoy your opening day, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.